He said that even if you're a minority of one, the truth is still the truth.
There's no branch of medicine that exists where a dead organ is left in, except in dentistry where a root canal is left in. If a guy's got a gangrenous toe, you gotta cut the toe off because it's bacterial infested and it's toxic and it's gonna kill the patient. If you think that you can get away with an infected toxic tooth and not have a systemic consequence, I think you're deluding yourself.
This is the day my whole life went to shit, and I didn't even know it. This is called Schoolies Week. Every year, thousands of high school graduates spend a week getting royally wasted in a celebration to the exquisite end of their high school education. That's me, on the left, on my way to another party.
Shut up! Shut up! I'll pull your shirt. Get your hand away. Every single time you do this.
And this is the guy I was unlucky enough to get in a fight with.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa! Are you all right?
Piss off!
Oh, mate, back up. Settle down.
I had no idea that the punch that shattered my teeth was the punch that would shatter my world. Here come those 7 little words.
You're going to need a root canal.
Because this is a root canal. They drill into your tooth, extract the root, fill it with gutta percha.
What if I could tell you that 98% of women that have breast cancer have a root canal tooth on the same side as their offending breast cancer?
That the biggest toxic influence in the body in a chronically ill person is a root canal tooth.
That the leading authority in cardiovascular prevention, which is Balan-Donine, does not condone root canals in your mouth because of the bacteria.
From the patient's own immune system to the tooth, because in the process of doing the root canal treatment, the blood supply and the nerve have been severed from that tooth, so now the body can't deliver its own immune defenses to help keep the infection in check.
70 to 90% of all medical problems actually originate in the mouth. The blood supply and the mouth literally will take any toxins via the lymphatic system and take it down to the thyroid, the thymus, the heart, and the rest of the body. So there is a direct connection.
Every tooth connects up energetically through the meridian system to certain organs and glands. So for example, on the upper side of the jaw, the last 2 molars and this bicuspid actually connect up energetically to the left breast, and on this side it's to the right breast. And 95% of the time, women who have breast cancer who undergo a thermographic study will be found to have hot spots in the jaw on the same side as that malignant breast.
I can't buy into this concept of this electricity going through these meridians. I've never seen a meridian, the electricity going through the body, and that is completely mainstream. Each tooth actually lies on a different meridian. So those energy pathways that we discussed, they go through particular areas. So if we're looking at the wisdom teeth, we're talking about a small intestine and a heart. As we move forward on the top and we have these molars, then we're looking at breast, we're looking at thyroid. On this side, we're looking at pancreas. On this side, we're looking at spleen. Then we move forward to the bicuspids and their lung and large intestine. We go to the eye teeth, and it's called an eye tooth for a reason because it's connected to your eye. It's also connected to the liver and to the gallbladder. And then these 4 front teeth, top and bottom, are connected to the urinary tract, to the anal canal, to the adrenals, to the pituitary, to your kidney.
Nobody comes to see me with a sore tooth. They come with their arthritis, their fatigue, their cancer, their heart disease.
From mental disease to heart disease to arthritis.
So when Weston Price started doing root canals on his patients, he found that a lot of them were getting sick. And so he started doing some research.
Heart disease, kidney disease, arthritis, neurologic disease, you name it. And even more amazingly is it would take that same tooth and successively put it underneath the skin of 20, 30, 50 consecutive rabbits, and they all developed as the original person who supplied that tooth.
Removed 15 years prior. Once I got rid of the strep infection and jawbone, his emphysema totally disappeared. So the mouth is the toxic waste dump that's impacting on the rest of the body.
Most of these things aren't genetic problems. You know, this person for the first 25 or 50 years of their life was okay. Now they're not. This isn't your genes. This is your body's toxic. And if we can restore those things, you can get your health back and your energy back, and you can have a fun life.
I'm driving my car down the road, and I see my oil light has come on. Well, I could get a hammer and smash the oil light, and that would take care of the problem, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't, because it's a sign or a symptom that something is going on.
Using a device called a Leca antenna, the information from your blood is tested against the variety of things that can make people sick, and the antenna swings if the answer is yes. Is it emotional? No. Is it a parasite? No. Is it dental? Yes. Is it an infected root canal? You have an infected root canal. Strange science aside, this was the first time anyone had told me my chronic fatigue was because of a tooth. It seemed bizarre until I really did some research.
Taken out numerous root canal treated teeth that looked completely fine on the x-ray. And yet, after we took that tooth out and cleaned out that socket, we would find a large area of dead bone or an actual cyst or even actual pus and infection in there.
And then I discovered the father of biological dentistry, Hal Huggins.
I mean, if you've got a ruptured appendix, you're going to fill it with wax and put a gold crown on it? You got the same bacteria there, only the ones in the mouth may be worse. The question is, do all root canal teeth have to be removed? The answer is no, only in those people who are interested in their health.
He also found that the toxins from a root canal tooth are equal in toxicity to botulism poisoning.
But they truly believe the root canal procedure is fine, it does a good job, but the scientific evidence takes this out of belief range, okay? Belief has nothing to do with it. The science shows the root canal is always infected.
These aren't diagnosed because the guy who's seeing the patient for high blood pressure, for chronic back pain, is not associating it, and he's not testing, could this be a dental issue that's referred?
He had 2 root canal teeth. The radiographs looked pristine, and 1,000 dentists that would view them would say these are absolutely normal. The pathogens that were in these 2 root canal teeth were in his throat, exactly where the cancer was. I extracted the 2 teeth, we ozonated the jawbone, homeopathics, and ionic silver. In 3 weeks, the stage 4 throat cancer was totally resolved, documented with PET scans, blood tests, and visual.
I felt bad because I had done a lot of those. How can this be? You know, this is something that's been going on for so long. There's a whole specialty around it. But whenever colleagues started presenting me with different pieces of research, I obviously came to the conclusion that I did not want to do root canal treatment anymore personally.
It cuts the flow of energy to these different organs. And
have an extension cord plugged in, ready to go, but you and I are hitting the door, standing on the door. How much of the door has to be gone before you and I can connect? Not a thin piece of balsa wood, all of it. Once all of the door is removed, then you and I are able to make a connection.
After everything that I'd uncovered, I knew my teeth had to come out. I saw a biological dentist, and the first thing he spotted was...
So it looks like you got some trauma to your front tooth.
Yep, that punch in the mouth. Why was I such a sucker for a damsel in distress?
So let's have a look at the x-ray here. And all this discoloration is where the infection is. So we've got a deep pocket infection up top, and that's what's been causing your health issues. And then we'll give you a new tooth, a zirconian tooth, and we'll bridge it to either side. So in the next 3 or 4 months, this will heal up nicely, and you'll notice a dramatic increase in your energy levels.
Now, I don't want you to think that as soon as you get your tooth out, you'll wake up with boundless energy. The damage has been done. So you have to heal yourself and go through those things like the parasite cleanse, liver cleanse, kidney cleanse, colon cleanse, TBM, shortness, fasting, juicing. Intense journey. But gradually you start to feel your health returning.
You need to find a dentist who knows what he or she is doing, because it involves more than a simple extraction.
And this is where I also find ozone gas so indispensable, because you can just punch with a very tiny needle. You go into the area and then you inject ozone gas, and that gas will go off into all the areas off this main tunnel, all the areas where you have infection.
So that if someone has a chronic smoldering infection with biotoxin in this area, it can affect their brain, the regulation of their brain, their energy, and lots of other things. Toxin get into the brain and kill me, it's letting the cancer cells go here, or men in the prostate, or in the colon, you know, the big ones, or in the lung. These are the 4 big cancers.
It's just spreading out of the ignorance of the so-called specialists, that they don't want to accept this fact, even though it's absolutely clearly proven.
That when you have 1 or more root canals in your mouth, statistically speaking, you have a greater chance of heart attack, plain and simple.
Once we have the basic toxic source removed from the patient, then things like infrared sauna is good. You'll sweat. There's nutritional agents that we can give you, and we can tease these things out of you and get them out. Then our basic program is we find out what nutrients they're missing and we give it back to them. We do IV vitamin C. We use pulsed magnetic fields, because in cells that don't make energy, those cells don't have energy, and the membrane around the cell can't control very well what goes in and out. If we put them in an environment where there's a gentle pulsed magnetic field, it recharges that cell membrane. Now that cell can detoxify itself.
I was starting to feel great, so I went to an EAV machine operator to make sure my energy flow was on track. But something was off. I found I had another blockage, this time in one of my wisdom teeth. I dug deeper and got a cone beam scan. I was told it was a cavitation, something else you really don't want. Just my luck.
Cavitations are basically residual infections in the jawbone which result from extraction of teeth. The bacteria just infiltrate into that wound and live there for the rest of the life of the patient.
Every bone in your body is connected to another bone by way of a ligament. Your tooth is connected to your jawbone by way of what we call a periodontal ligament.
And if that ligament is gone, that bone will heal in so that there is full bone and you have a restored jawbone. But if the doctor pulls that tooth and doesn't take out that ligament, that space where that tooth was may seal over on the top and be a cavity. And it will be a place where the body then will use as a storage depot for junk.
So the periodontal ligament prevents healing. One actual study on 5,000 cavitations left after wisdom teeth were removed, 4,999 had not healed. Only 1 in 5,000 had healed.
And what's inside that hole is nothing different, and this sounds disgusting and it sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. It's the same as wet, infectious gangrene.
The wisdom teeth are unique in that there are 4 circuits going through it instead of just 2. It's heart, small intestine, and the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. And so you see people whose adrenal glands are not working, and it's because they have infection in where their wisdom teeth were taken out, because you can have infections in the bone where your wisdom teeth were taken off for 50 years and essentially have no pain there, but it completely destroys your life. When you don't have enough adrenaline, you have trouble going to sleep, and then you have trouble dealing with stress. And then it gets to where you can't stand any stimulus, so you don't like loud music, you don't like loud noises, you can't be around a rowdy crowd, you can't be around people who are arguing. Now, what I just described is a person whose life's in the toilet.
Natural bone. You have to wait at least 3 months for that. You want to check it and make sure that it did heal, that you don't have the cavitation. But let's say it's healed. How do you replace the tooth? Well, you have different options. Of course, an option is you don't replace it, you leave it alone. Another option is you can use something removable, which most people don't like. It's not very comfortable. The other option is you could put a bridge in, where you're bridging that space. And there are 2 types of bridges. The traditional bridge, which I don't like, is where you have to mutilate the teeth on either side of that space to hold the missing tooth. And the problem with that is when you mutilate those teeth, you increase the odds that those teeth could need a root canal in the future. So I prefer to use a bonded type bridge where the abutment teeth, as they're called, or the supporting teeth, have minimal preparation, and that holds the missing tooth. Now, the only downside with that really is that it periodically will come loose and need to be re-cemented. You're going into the bone, and you're placing what traditionally has been a titanium implant. Now, today, we have also ceramic implants. The advantages and disadvantages, well, titanium, the problem is you're putting a metal into the bone.
Titanium itself is known as a hapten. The ions in the titanium itself can trigger autoimmune. So now you've got problems that you didn't have. Plus, I've got metal that is directly going into my meridian system. So it's like sticking a spoon in an electric socket and bending it around and sticking it in the bottom part, and it shorts out the whole meridian.
And that's why we now have zirconia implants, which is, it's more like a ceramic. It's a complete non-metal implant that looks the same as a titanium implant and functions the same, but is considered much more biocompatible for the tissue and for the patient.
So good medicine would include this, and that's what we want to do. We want just the best medicine. We want to give people things that don't hurt them more than they help them.
I want you to think that I had my head in the clouds by saying that the only reason I got chronic fatigue was because I had a root canal. My search has led me to believe that all chronic disease is because of a toxic overload. These toxins come in various forms, from as simple as toxic junk food, to environmental toxins, to toxic emotions. We're all now learning about the toxic effects of electromagnetic frequencies as well. And we also can't rule out pathogens. What I can say is that until I stopped the source of my toxic root canal by having it removed, I could never get better, no matter what I tried. It really was the biggest piece of the jigsaw puzzle, the root cause, so to speak.
So your dentist says you need a root canal. Apart from running for the door, what are your options? Firstly, if the tooth needs to be removed, make sure you see a holistic dentist, one who can remove the infection and periodontal ligament properly. Then, once the tooth is removed and the mouth is healed, you have 3 good options. Your first option is to get a bonded ceramic bridge. Your second option is to get a zirconia implant. Now, 99% of dentists will recommend a titanium implant, but that is just as bad as a root canal. So make sure your implant is zirconia. Then your third option is a good old-fashioned denture. Keep smiling.
I've been reading this book about Gandhi. He didn't have a lot of tooth problems like me. Rumor was, he had dentures he slipped in and out every night. But his words were as beautiful as his smile. He said that even if you're a minority of one, the truth is still the truth.
Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 or 90% of people are sick, at least in part, if not totally, by an infected tooth.
This can be a miracle for a patient. This can be life-saving on a patient. And I've got tons of patients where this was really their problem. And when we addressed this, then they were actually able to get better.
My mentor, Dr. Hal Huggins, told me 20 years ago, you can't dry off while you're still in the shower. And it's a simple but profound statement. You can't resolve a problem if what causes the problem is continuing to shower in while you're trying to resolve the situation. In today's medicine and dentistry, we have 2 important things being done to our body, but neither field interacts with the other.
If doctors did more of this, we could actually really help a lot more people, get a lot more people better, and do what our profession is supposed to do, which is help to heal people up.
1 in 2 of us are dying of heart disease, 1 in 2 of us are dying cancer. We better have a strategy for both. Make sure you take really good care of your oral hygiene and have a program in place to make sure you minimise the amount of pathogenic organisms in our mouths leaking to our bloodstream.
There's another great quote, that new knowledge is never immediately adopted. Rather, the old knowledge dies out and the new takes its place. So to each of you who hear this, know that the challenge of whether this truth reaches the world is up to you.
Currently, we have roughly 25 million new root canal procedures being done a year in the United States. One of the greatest public health interventions we could possibly do around the world is to make it very clear the important role that dental infections and toxins have, and hopefully someday to make the root canal procedure something of the past, because it does nothing positive for the general health of the body at all.
I'm just one guy, and this is my truth. That truth has set me free. I feel that freedom every day when I wake up. It's in my joy, my sorrow, my friendships. Oh, and in case you're wondering whether I can get it up, there's no problem there. I got my life back, so I didn't want my truth to just be a minority of one. I'm a filmmaker, and the journey I'd been on was epic. So maybe it was meant to happen to me after all.